Hello, amazing business owners. You know that I don't just tell you to come and register your businesses. I tell you what the government have for you and the plans they have for you. And today with me, I have a tax expert who will be telling us briefly about the new Nigerian tax law. So, Mr. Tayimba.
All right, thank you so much. It's very nice to have me here. Well, when it comes to the new Nigerian Tax Act, there are so many interesting updates in the new Nigerian Tax Act. So I will be discussing this in two perspectives, as a limited liability company and the second aspect as a business name. So if you run a limited liability company, you get to know that now the threshold for a small company has been raised from 25 million to 50 million. So if you operate within that range, your total turnover for a year is less than 50 million, you are going to pay 0% taxes, but as a limited liability company from 1st of January 2026. And also again, for business owners, business name owners, you know, most business name owners have that popular misconception that they don't have anything to do about tax, nothing concern them with tax. Well, the thing is, there is a game changer. There's what is called the Nigerian Revenue Service. FIRS is now rebranded as Nigerian Revenue Service. And when it comes to Nigerian Revenue Service, there are a lot of things within the Tax Act that has to do with this revenue services, both the states and the federal working together. Yeah. So I foresee a possibility of enforcement when it comes to business name in the nearest future. Wow. So if you are a business name owner, you need to pay attention to your taxes, except of course you don't want to do that business again. But if you are looking at scaling your business as a business name owner, you need to pay attention to your taxes, because I foresee that in the nearest future, the Nigerian Revenue Service will enforce taxes for business name owners.
Okay, so when you talk about the taxes, are you talking about the state tax or federal tax?
Yes, I'm actually talking about the state tax, because if you own a business name, you are supposed to pay tax to the State Inland Revenue Service for the state where you operate. Let's assume you operate in Abuja, you pay to FCRS. If you operate in Lagos, you pay to Lagos Inland Revenue Service.
So how do they calculate the state tax, since you are saying for limited liability companies, if you have 50 million annually, you are going to be paying tax at 0%. At 0%. Yeah. So once you have exceeded 50 million, 30%. Yeah. So for business name, how are they supposed to pay their tax?
Oh, well, for business name, there's what we call graduating rates, because the rate is not one rate. Okay. There's 0%, there is 15%, there is 18%, there is 21%, there is 23%, and there is 25%. Okay. So this is how it is done. So let's assume as a business name owner, you do business, and for instance, your turnover for the year is 10 million. Then your allowable expenses, I'm saying allowable expenses because not every expense you make in your business is allowable in the eyes of the tax law. Wow. Yeah, not every expense you make in your business is allowable in the eyes of the tax law. That's why I specifically stated allowable expenses. So let's assume you do business as a business name owner. Your income is 10 million annually for the whole 12 calendar months, and then your expenses around 8 million. So that 2 million is what the graduating rates will apply on. Okay. And then if the government discovers that some of your expenses you use to reduce your tax are not allowable, they'll add them back.
So that means before you pay your tax, you need someone, an expert, someone that knows what he's doing.
Yes.
You know. To
be able to sort it out for you, actually.
Okay. So with this new tax law, would you say that the business owners, is it something that we are going to benefit from, or is something that will take more money from our pocket?
Okay, well, that's a very, very nice question, because all around the internet, all around my consultation sessions with business owners, everybody asks this question, and it's the question that is at the top of the mind of a lot of people. Mm-hmm. You know, the major reason for the new Nigerian Tax Act is to be able to shift the burden or relieve the burden from low-income earners. That's businesses that are earning low, people that are earning low, and take the burden up to people that are earning higher. So if you are within the bracket of earning lower, the tax law is beneficial to you. But if you earn much, basically now the higher you earn, the higher the government takes from you. Okay. And the lower you earn, the lower the government takes from you. So if you are a business owner that is doing a huge turnover, of course the government is going to take much. Wow. But if you are a business owner that your turnover is low, the government is going to take a little, because the government is trying to balance the scenario because of, you know, inflation rate is high, standard of living is becoming high, affording basic needs is also high. So, and that is a problem. Basic need is a problem of low-income earners. So they are trying to make them have more liquidity, like more money to be able to spend on their basic needs. That's why they are, in a way, from the new Nigerian Tax Act, taking some tax burden off them.
For business structure,
Yeah.
we have business name and a limited liability company.
Yes.
So with this new tax law, which one would you advise business owners to go for?
Okay, I will say this in two perspectives.
Okay.
First, I will advise business owners to go for a limited liability company. Why? Because if you do turnover less than 50 million, because of course many businesses in Nigeria don't do up to 50 million naira annually. So if you do less than 50 million naira annually, then of course you will pay 0%. But then for business name, the only advantage of business name is supposed to pay tax normally as employees working in an organization.
Just like personal income tax.
Yes.
Yeah.
Business name pay personal income tax. So the only leverage business name is having currently is because the state tax office does not have the capacity to enforce yet.
Yeah.
Okay, let me not use does not. The state tax office are not enforcing yet. Okay. But based on the new Nigerian Tax Act that has to do with bringing together both federal and state tax offices together, I believe that they will develop the capacity to enforce. And if they develop the capacity to enforce, it's going to be very terrible because a lot of people watching us here are registered as business name owners and they have not been remitting their taxes. So yes. It's going to be terrible.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So I add also that if you have not filed your tax at all before now, you are, let me not say you are in a big trouble, or it's not that easy compared to before now.
Yeah, you are actually in a big trouble. Let's not just sugarcoat it because, of course, there are a lot of penalties will apply to you.
Wow.
And the penalties are more strict now. You know, before when you, as a limited liability company, when you get to submit your audited financial statement for tax purposes, because before you process a tax clearance, you need to submit the position of your transactions, which in form of a financial statement to the tax office. So before, when you submit, it takes a while for them to review it. But now, I don't know if they have deployed AI system. It's almost immediately. In less than 1 month, they review and raise your assessments for you to pay additional if you didn't pay up to. So the thing is more effective now. And I believe from 1st of January 2026, it's going to be very, very...
So that means if someone has not paid tax for like 3 years, you have to clear off the 3 years. You have to pay the penalty, whether you have commenced business or not.
Yes, of course, you know, Benjamin Franklin said something, the two most certain things in life is debt and taxes. So you cannot run away from it. If you decide to keep it for so long, the time you want to use that same company, of course, you still pay. But then if you have not commenced business, it's a different case. Okay. You will not pay tax if you have not commenced business.
But will you pay penalty for not filing?
Yes, you pay penalty for not filing.
At all, okay.
Yes, because you're supposed to present the true position of your business at every point to the government. Okay. So being true and fair, the government gets to know the position of your business. So if you don't get to present that position, you are liable to penalties. You know, there are different kinds of penalties. There are late return penalties, that's you didn't file on time. Okay. Then there are penalties for owing the government money that you're supposed to pay tax.
Then you did not pay.
Yeah. Then there's interest on that penalty of that money you are supposed to pay to the government that you didn't pay. And then there is also a CBN rate that will to be charged on that money because it seems you are owing the government money.
I think the government don't want people to do business again.
But then the good part of it is if you start on a clean slate, it will be more easier for you. This whole entanglement, you'll not be entangled if you start on a clean slate. So the thing I advise business owners now, once you're starting your business, in other countries, in other foreign countries, and as well as even some African countries, when someone conceives an idea of starting a business, the first people that are on that table, the tax consultant is also among. But then, in this part of the world, we want to jump into a lot of trouble before we run after tax consultant. It's actually quite an experience. You're going to see that most of the times, people have a lot of backlog that they are not even aware of. Wow. So that's the challenge.
Amazing. Thank you so much. So if you want to file your tax, you know what to do. Reach out to the number showing on your screen, and we are here for you. We are here for you to help you solve this problem. And don't wait till you need your tax clearance certificate for something before you file it. Do it now. They said delay is dangerous.
Yes.
All right. Bye.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Yes.